Hello, my name is Stephen Green and this is Learning English with Stephen. I've been teaching English for well over 20 years now. Over the last 10 years or so, I've only taught people privately, one-to-one classes. When I meet my students for the first time, they often complain about their grammar. They have a story about how bad their grammar is or how they hated studying grammar at school, but that's all their teachers did. In response, I often ask them a question. If you could improve one thing, what would it be? Grammar or vocabulary? What about you? What would your answer be to that question? What are you interested in improving? Your grammar of English or your vocabulary in English? Well, my answer to this is pretty simple, but it often surprises many of my students. I tell them that vocabulary is much more important than grammar. I'm not saying that grammar is irrelevant or that we shouldn't even think about grammar. It is important. But if you've got a limited amount of time, focus on vocabulary. And let's be honest, pretty much all of us, we all have a limited amount of time. We have family, we have friends, we've got work. Who has the time to sit down and study grammar and vocabulary and listening and reading and all the other things we need? So focus on vocabulary first. This is surprising for a lot of students because of their experience with learning English. Traditionally in the classroom, we would see things like the present simple first. We'd study that. Then we'd look at the past simple. Maybe the course books would be organised according to grammatical structures. Our teachers probably always talked about grammar. They used grammatical vocabulary when they were explaining points. And when we had a test to do, there would always be a section on grammar. So as students, we learn to think that grammar is most important. But as I've said, it's not. Let me give you some examples. First example. Imagine somebody says, I play football yesterday. Now this is a grammatical mistake. She said play, not played, when she's talking about the past. However, do you understand what she's trying to say? Of course you do. You understand that yesterday she was playing football. She played football yesterday. It's a grammatical mistake, but the vocabulary is correct, so you understand her. Now, let's take another example. If she said, I played bag yesterday. Grammatically, this is correct, you know? We've got played in the past. This is brilliant sentence grammatically. But I played bag? What does that mean? The vocabulary is wrong. That means the vocabulary is much more important. If you make a grammatical mistake, people will probably still understand you. But if you make a vocabulary mistake, people will probably not understand you. Let me give you another reason why vocabulary is more important than grammar. A few years ago, I used to teach in London and we had students from all over the world coming to study English with us. I can remember one student very well. His English grammar was amazing. He knew so much about the grammar of English. He knew more than me. He used to come into class with questions, either written down or he would try to read them from a piece of paper. The problem was his vocabulary was terrible. I found it very difficult to explain why we do certain things because he didn't have the vocabulary. He had the grammar, but not the vocabulary. I tried to tell him that his grammar was great. He didn't need to worry about it. He should focus on vocabulary, but I don't think he really believed me. A third reason why vocabulary is more important than grammar, or a third example, is imagine you're going on holiday to a new place and you don't know the language. What do you take with you to help you communicate? Do you take a grammar book with you? Of course not. You take a phrase book with you. A phrase book with lots of useful vocabulary so that you can communicate immediately. You don't need to worry about the grammar of the vocabulary to communicate. You just need to know about the vocabulary. Okay, so those are my reasons for why, if time is limited, you should focus on vocabulary. Remember, I'm not saying that grammar is not important. I'm just saying that vocabulary is more important. What about you? Do you believe me? Do you focus on grammar or do you focus on vocabulary? I'd love to hear what you do. And if you have any questions, please just leave a comment. I promise to answer everybody. So right now, what I'd like you to do is to subscribe to this channel. This is my first real video, so I need subscribers to help me realize if I'm doing the right thing or not. You can follow me here, or you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, the same name, Learning English with Stephen. I also have a website called englishwithstephen.com. I have lots of extra information there, and I have links to a podcast that I produce, which is also to help students learn English. So, thank you very much for your time. I hope to see you again in future classes, in future videos, I should say. Thank you very much and good luck. Bye bye.